sort of exemplified in this one of the theories. There's a few different theories of intelligence. So like we showed Gardner's multiple. This is
Mhm.
I need to zoom. Dish, dish. There we go. That's not very good. Um. Oh, geez, that's terrible. Okay. 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 Bruh. Sorry, and I'm gonna fix. And Alicia's just staring at me like, "What are you talking about, Layla?"
Oh, I
Uh.
was reading the chat.
Oh yeah. So like, I think, yeah, I think what Alicia's saying is like your state and trait emotions, obviously, and environmental context sort of affect this. I think this kind of has a little bit of like this contextual element that we were kind of discussing, right? So there's like
Absolutely.
these three sort of different elements of intelligence where it's like analytical, so it's like being able to problem solve,
Mhm.
creative intelligence of like using experiences to like better, to sort of, yeah, I guess it's more of that crystallized intelligence aspect where you're using that sort of like previous knowledge to like implement in these steps. And then the practical
Mhm.
intelligence, which is adaptability. Um and they're all kind of
Absolutely.
have to do with like troubleshooting and problem solving and sort of these different contextual elements. But yeah, definitely, I agree. I think the emotional state and trait obviously
She
have
just
like a
keeps
huge
popping and
influence on that.
staring at me. Sorry.
Is
Hoon does the thing where she like sits over and over again, like she plops down in a
Oh,
very like demanding way, and then just goes
she's
at
being
you. And yeah,
she's being a drama queen, is what you're saying?
do it for the drama, mama. Yeah,
Drama.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you about the kind of like analytical and crystallized and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I mean, there is one of the kind of like model. I don't know that there's a specific model of intelligence that talks specifically about social intelligence, but I know social intelligence is talked about, like
Yeah, it's one of like
successful intelligence.
Gardner's is definitely on there. It's like interpersonal or something like that.
Triarchic, Sternberg's triarchic
Mhm.
model of intelligence, like you were saying, breaks it into analytic, creative, and practical.
Mhm.
And focuses on how well someone adapts to real life situations, not just how they perform on tests. It's
Yeah.
more ecologically valid, but it's harder to measure reliably and less integrated into
Mhm.
standardized testing for obvious reasons, right? And I mean, the other thing is without like a naturalistic observation sort of testing paradigm, even if you were to try and measure something like this, a social desirability bias would come into play if you were trying to measure this and a person knew that you were trying to measure it, because the way that someone will act in a road rage situation, for example, when they know they're being observed and evaluated on how much they can emotionally regulate versus how much they would actually act like that in their own personal lives, is those are like potato
Yeah.
dishwasher different, right?
Yeah. So I'm looking I want to see if so there's another, like we've talked about two. We've talked about Gardner, we've talked about Sternberg's theory. There's also Piaget. So if anyone has any sort of,
Oh, my boy.
yeah, if anyone has like like ever taken one developmental psychology class, you will know
Because he's
this guy.
developmental stages, right? Is that
Yes,
am
but
I
it's
PHing right?
but
Am I remembering my
yes,
undergraduate psychology training? Ah,
yes. So the
my
intelligence
boy.
aspect also kind of comes into play here. Sorry. Oh, I hate that it like zoom in more, but it's not. Whatever. No, that's terrible. That's worse. Okay. Um, but essentially, we have these like stages of development, and I think also like this is also based in like Freud. Like this is adapted from Freud, where Freud was like oral, anal, you have fixation on these like body parts. This is a little bit more like, yes, okay, we have developmental stages and they actually are kind of grounded more in like
Like,
science.
what would Freud have said about intelligence? Like, he would have been like, "Your intelligence is proportional to your, obsession with dicks."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what were, like,
it's
how much are you into to boobs as an
it's
adult man?
it's derived from the size of your prostate. Like some bullshit like that. Like some
Get out of town. No, no, no. Like, oh, I can't possibly. No, no, no.
Sigmund Fraud, wee wee.
Yeah.
Yes, so I mean it does there it the ability oh, I'm hearing an echo all of a sudden. But
Oh, it's you coming through Dan's headphones, I believe, because I can
oh.
hear it too.
Oh
So go ahead
no.
and turn that volume down because it's not on his head, I think.
Got it. Okay.
I think I turned it down.
How big is Dan's head? I'm gonna just regret this immediately. How big is Dan's head, and how does that relate to his intelligence, his head circumference?
Probably we're going in a different direction there.
No,
Just like,
no, no,
man,
no, 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 no,
I am.
no,
This is of course the part that he's not in
no. Of
the
course,
room for, so
I
this
know.
is hysterical.
Does
How
he
big is
need
Dan's head?
extra wide headphones like Sean
He's
does?
Megamind.
Oh,
He's
got it.
Megamind.
Got
It's
it.
this fucking thing. He's got
Got
his
it.
cranium on him.
Got it. Yeah.
Hides eyes and ears. Wasn't Sigmund Freud born in the Victorian era? I believe so, but he was German, so. Or
Yeah.
Austrian? Yeah,
Austrian. Yes.
Austrian. Sorry, my bad.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah, I think one of the most interesting parts though is like if we want to go back to emotions a little bit and that sort of interpersonal thing, it
Mm-hmm.
does one of Piaget's stages kind of does hit on like the building of empathy. There's
Mm-hmm.
is it la 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 it's I don't think it's specifically here, but it's like age ooh, 7 or 8 or something like that. They are able to like gain the reasoning skills to realize that like their perspective is not other people's perspective. So like the example I always give of this
Right.
is my when we were younger, we were playing hide and seek, and my little sister would like throw a blanket over her head and then say you can't see me, and that's like clear.
The object permanence, nah,
Yeah.
girl.
Well, literally, she would be like, because I can't see you, you can't see me, right? And so,
Love that. I love that
like,
for her.
this, yeah, right, I know, it's so funny. But, that's sort of like, she hadn't quite hit that stage. And that
Yeah, yeah.
also is when they, like, kids are better understand sharing. They better understand these sort of, like, empathetic pieces of, like, okay, other people have feelings too. It's not just me and my mind, it's,
Mm.
like, other people and their minds as well. So I mean
Yeah,
that also
theory of
plays
other minds. That's some
yeah.
deep psychology
Yes.
philosophy.
So it definitely gets into that sort of like hits on like emotional intelligence and like
I
if you
turned down your headphones because I could hear them. Oh. So just when you put them on and you're not hearing sound, that's why. Sorry.
no. I was gonna say maybe if like a kid hits that stage a little bit earlier, like they'll be more end up being more emotionally intelligent. It like it varies as well, right? So
Yeah, and I mean these are like developmental landmarks that you would expect a child to be
mm-hmm.
hitting at a certain kind of age range, and if
Yes.
they don't, then you would be subsequently usually sending them for some sort of cognitive testing or sensory testing. Because a lot of the times, I think the way that you end up discovering a sensory issue
Mm-hmm.
in children that can't communicate with like any large level of clarity is to send them for auditory and visual testing and that sort of thing, right? Because if you can't hear things, you're not going to respond when you should be, and if you can't see things, etc.
Old Man Felonious put something in the chat that's like very interesting of like there's a recent study that determined that we're physiologically 5 stages of brain development: childhood, adolescence, adulthood, early aging, and late aging. And so yeah, this is like a common myth in like psychology and neuroscience that the brain like stops developing at the age of 25, right? And that's when people sort of like hit this maturity. But it's like we that study just stopped measuring after at the age of 25 essentially. Like we
Mm,
don't
yeah.
actually know how, and I guess maybe we do now, maybe there's more evidence now, but like the brain continues to develop like through your life and like
All
yeah,
Yeah, it
neural
doesn't
pruning.
stop doing that.
Neural pruning, if like you're not using like if you don't use it you lose it, right? So if you aren't
Mm-hmm.
using like regularly testing cognitive flexibility, etc., like you will sort of you will crystallize and sort of like get stuck in your mental ways.
Yeah, Bye, Hybrid Robotic X, if you're
Mhm.
robotics, if you're still in here. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate your contributions, and we hope you'll be back. Um, yeah, I think developmentally, you stratifying the cognitive expectations according to like developmental stage is definitely like a
Mhm.
pretty safe way to do it in general, and that like this like object permanence and like perspective taking abilities and stuff like that is nice in that it can span entire, you know, socioeconomic statuses and language barriers and
Yes.
cultural kind of different things. So that is nice. How much those things load on to G factor, like the age at which you got
Probably.
object permanence, maybe are those people that go on to be gifted and have
Yeah.
high IQ ranks. Who knows? I mean, there
Mhm.
might be research out there that reflects that. And that could be something. I mean, I hesitate to say that even if that was true, it's impossible to know fully whether or not that's a artifact of your environmental upbringing or an artifact of like an ingrained state, you know, potentially genetic kind of component to it. But
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
I was gonna say, as we're getting close to wrapping up here. I just wanted to like
Yeah.
on we've talked about intelligence as hilariously. I'm like I got this wonderful. It's literally a rainbow brain stress ball that I'm now squeezing as we talk about intelligence.
A rainbow.
A brainbow. Yes, exactly. Um, the we've talked about intelligence like it is sort of this like fixed thing, right? But there's a lot of like theory and evidence that it's not. It's like it's
Mm-hmm.
buildable, and so um, there's this like mindset theory that's like popularized by somebody named Carol Dweck, and what? Oh, he's talking to the
Oh yeah,
dog.
he's talking
He's
to you.
and so it's like fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, right? And so this is like if you have a fixed mindset and you think intelligence is inborn, it's uncontrollable, kind of like an external locus of control, essentially. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
I can only do as I can do, and if I fail, like this is a reflection of myself, as opposed to a growth mindset where you say, okay, this is a learning opportunity. I have the ability to do better next time by incorporating this into what I know and like growing as a person and growing your intelligence. This is like highly indicative of like success later on. So having a growth mindset is super valuable, and it's actually like you obviously will be more mentally healthy, but then you'll also have like better outcomes as like a
Yeah.
student or a worker, whatever.
That's something I could can definitely see as being something that's a lot easier to have if you're
Yeah.
socioeconomically advantaged, right? Being able to be like,
Yeah.
it's all changeable. My destiny is not predetermined by the way that I look, think, walk, talk, or where I was born, or you know what
Mm-hmm.
appendages I have or don't have, or you know any of those sorts of things, like my gender presentation, shit like that. Like it would be that's something that I think would be inextricably linked to kind of
Definitely. I
society.
definitely think yeah, like it aligns pretty closely with like imposter syndrome, right? Of like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't have the skills to be here, like inborn skills as opposed to I have the like learning potential, the adaptability to like have
Mm-hmm.
success in this space, right? So, yeah, absolutely. I think that and like I think imposter syndrome is inherently
Mm-hmm.
more common in, you know, minority groups and these kinds of things in these higher spaces. So, yeah.
Someone
And
asked if intelligence is correlated with happiness, and I actually do not know.
I believe it has
But
a negative correlation, but I that might be pop psychology. I might like we need to maybe look that up.
I think that there's probably like a bimodal sort of thing where if you're on either end of the extremes, that's my hypothesis. The true answer is I don't know. I would have
Well,
to look at it. Maybe we can do a
you
full
would
episode
have
on
you
happiness.
would have to remove socioeconomic status from it, right? And that is a huge
Right.
I mean, if you are low IQ and that results in low SC like low socioeconomic economic status or vice versa, like
Mm-hmm.
that is going to have, you know, poor
Yeah.
people who
It
are
can
struggling with
be
money are
twofold.
inherently yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, I was gonna say
There
going.
is some degree of like
Mhm.
people want to believe that this like ignorance is bliss, and like would like are people that are intellectually disadvantaged